Hey you! Yes you! Guess what you can find at patreon.com/NotAVampyre. Yes, I have a Patreon now where you can support me and support my goal of making more videos. I mean, that's what you want, that's what I want, and you also get these lovely perks that will show on screen. Again, that's patreon.com/NotAVampyre. And now, onto the video. Try as I did, there was only one show that I kept up with last season, and for good reason. It's an isekai that isn't trash! Now, of course, not all isekai suck, but with the popularity of the genre also comes the heartless and soulish cash-ins that reek of focus group marketing. And I have liked other isekai in the past. Fushigi Yuki was integral to middle school me, and I'm still thinking about it today. But separate from the harms of beautiful and vulnerable people, or the overpowered fantasies these isekai tend to lean into, there's Ascendance of a Bookworm. Technically, there is the fantasy of using our world knowledge to steamroll a fantasy land, but Urano isn't living out a dream escape land fantasy through what she knows. Instead, she uses her memories and skills to reach a life state that has always been her ideal even before getting reborn into the body of a poor 5-year-old named Mine. What she's always wanted was to be surrounded by books. She had just achieved that in our world before dying and getting isekai'd, and now she wants to go back to that point, even if that means literally inventing paper. But even though she has a ton of valuable information that's considered hobbyist level to us, life still isn't easy for her. Because she was reborn as a commoner, the books she adores are firmly out of her reach. She can sell her knowledge of simple innovations like pound cake or shampoo, but they'll never elevate her standing in society to where books aren't a luxury. Not to mention her job options are very limited because Mine's body is too weak for most physical labor. Her only option to be happy is to hopefully remember enough to make books of her own. And even though the plot of the first season that aired in fall of 2019 was watching Mine work at inventing a book, that's not really the draw of it for me. I'm not technically Mine enough to be drawn into the attempts to create ways to write stories in a medieval fantasy setting. The show goes at a slow pace, but part of the reason I don't mind it is that watching her invent paper isn't the main point of interest for me. I keep coming back to the show for the world building. I'm engaged as Mine learns more of the world that she suddenly inhabits, how money works, the ways to get seasonal fruit, concerns of the common peasant. I'm being immersed into a world that I kind of recognize historically, but am too modern-minded to recognize or inherently process. As a hobbyist history buff, I adore considerations like focusing on crafts in the winter because there is nothing worth spending your time on outside, or how simply knowing to read and write went a long way once upon a time. I love moments where Mine's modern mind comes into conflict with her surroundings, like when she shares how to make a pound cake with Frida because in our world it's such a basic dessert, but it's a world-shattering innovation in a place that just started importing sugar. But most importantly, I adore Ascendance of a Bookworm because just as Urano comes to see the fantasy world of her home, so do we. With her, we come to see Mine's family as people we love and care about. Somewhere along the way of inventing books, we became attached to these simple commoners. We grew to value them and relate to them enough where it just made sense that they might mean more to Urano than books. She might not have started with these people, but she grew to see them as meaning much more than her own personal desires. I cry along with Mine as she longs to spend the time that she has left with these people who've become her family. At some point, they've become home. I find I want to know more about the world they exist in. What is life like for nobles and those outside the city in particular? What is the inner workings of their religious system? Ascendance of the Bookworm is so rich in world building in a way that has never captured me before. Hell, halfway through the show I found that I just had to know more about what happens in the world that Mine exists in that I started reading scanlations of the manga just to scratch the itch. It's so refreshing in a time where generic isekai are always in abundance with the same stories to tell and places to set them. Never before have I been so invested in a fictional place that I wonder about aspects that I haven't seen yet. Part of it is probably from us only knowing information available to Mine in her social position. Regardless, it's there. I know the winter season has started, but if you don't mind a slow-paced plot and a world so fully realized that it somehow becomes home as you are exposed to it, then do yourself a favor and check out Ascendance of a Bookworm. Hell, check out the manga too because there's some differing details that I found interesting to know as well. Can't speak for the light novels, but if they're like the anime and manga, they're also worth looking into. Oh boy. I'm gonna keep this short because I'm sick and it really hurts to talk right now. As I stated at the top of the video, I opened up a Patreon. You can find me at patreon.com/NotAVampyre. And yeah, I've got a lot of cool perks in there, including if you give $15 or more, you can request a video. Won't quite be fully edited, more like a blog style, but yeah, if there's something that you've been dying for me to talk about and I've told you for some reason that I'm not going to cover it in my usual videos, there you go. Of course, I always reserve the right to decline a video topic. Other than that, check out my Discord for a content stream of the things that I and my friends create, and a spot where you can talk to me in my NotAVampyre crypt. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at NotAVampyre. Thank you very much for consuming this video, and until next time.